Hello. We're looking at Shopify at this point. So once again, we're kind of staying in these hype type stocks that I'm calling them, and we're going to look at Shopify. I really liked Shopify in the past. I'm not quite sure why they've fallen so much so quickly. So as I get into it, and actually before I get into it, I just want to say if you have any opinions on this in terms of a buy point for you, a sell point for you, where you think this stock is heading, or just any kind of details that or opinions that you have on Shopify, please leave them in the comments below, and we can kind of just discuss where we think this one's heading. But for right now, let's just take a brief look at Shopify in general in terms of a technical analysis, and then over time we'll kind of get a better understanding of this company as a whole and where they're going in the future. But right now, so Shopify, we can see a nice, strong incline here, a very sharp decline, and now it's kind of stabilizing. So, what I'm kind of doing with all these stocks is I'm trying to do like a 5 line system, and the system more or less just takes the ultimate high, the ultimate low. Whoops, wrong line. So that's what these black lines are signifying right now. And this is a 3-year trend. So we have the low, which is at 24, the ultimate high, which is at 170. And now we're going to see what I would consider a buy point, and we're going to make that one green. And so for this one, what I'm actually going to do, because this is very similar to Teladoc, if you watch that video, where it seems to have followed the same pattern, where it had this extreme high, it dropped pretty rapidly, and then it seems to have stabilized. So this one seems very similar to that. So Teladoc was kind of like a precursor to this video, and just kind of seeing how I want to play it out. So once again, this green line, that's going to be kind of the ideal price point to buy it. And it can fluctuate a little bit, and so I'm not hitting it quite on the nose, but overall this does seem to be a solid support line. And of course it did dip below it for a brief period during the 10th month of 22. But overall, it seemed to have strong support during like June through about July. It acted as support again in September. It did drop below, like I said, in late September, early October, most of October actually. And then once it got back above, it hasn't come below ever since. It came pretty close in late December of 22, but now it seems to be kind of trending upward. So we'll kind of make a note of that. In terms of a sell point, at least most recently, we're going to have to treat this 54 mark as our sell point. And so I'm just going to kind of populate my spreadsheet here. So buy point, we're saying 30, sell point, we're saying 54. And I do believe this stock will kind of climb back up to the $100 range. Can't say when at this point without doing further research, but I do believe this company is strong enough to have that type of performance. But again, just short term, like 2023, we'll kind of play it by quarter. But right now, that seems to be. I'd be interested in kind of drawing a trend line, but before I get ahead of myself, our 5th line that we draw in, this is kind of like our fair value line. And this is just to see if there's any other kind of support lines or resistance lines that we can kind of see. And I would kind of say right around 43, or maybe it's 41, about 41 actually seems to be the fair value. And I'm just basing it off of, it seemed like ever since it dropped below 54, which is our sell point, it just crashed right through our fair value mark at 41, and then it just kept hitting its head on 41 from about May till about August of 22. Then it kind of hung out here at the low end of the range, came up again, tested it in about November, December of 22, peaked up a little bit, but then came right back down. And then, of course, most recently in late January and now even into February and March, it seems to be fluctuating between the high end of the fair value range. And then, of course, most currently, it's actually very close to fair value today at about 43. So for this one, I like Shopify. I don't think I have any today. I know I did at one point, and it did very well for me. Um, and then, of course, I sold out just to make another purchase. Um, but yeah, so I guess at this point, I do think it's at a fair value. It's just, for me, do I want to buy this one because I believe in it long term? Honestly, I kind of do. So I'm tempted to at least get into it again slowly, maybe buy one or two shares of this just to say I have it, because I do think it's more likely that it'll rise up to our sell point of 54 than crash down below to 30 again. You can see a lot of volume has happened. Like, if we look back to 2021, I mean, we're seeing like double and triple the volume on the buys and the sells. So there's a lot of interest in this one. It does seem like it kind of slowed down in the more recent months, but yeah, like my opinion, just because I had a good experience with them in the past, I feel like I just kind of like this company and their model. So for me, yeah, I'd be very interested. Um, I guess because of how we've treated all the other stocks, it's only right that I would wait to see if it can come below. But th- yeah, there's definitely a chance that, say, tomorrow morning or maybe at some point later this week, if it's still around like $41, I might add one or two just because I do think this one is a winner long term. So if we go to our spreadsheet, you can see Shopify's down here. Um, I'm not going to add a color because, again, if we're looking at um, our color coding system here, it's not really near a buy point, a sell point. It's not even really close to any of those markers. So I don't feel comfortable adding any of these colors. So we'll just leave it at that. I'll mark it as, you know, wait until it surges up to a buy or a sell point, whatever the case may be. But overall, I am considering this one as a buy, even now at a fair value of like 41, 43. So, please like, subscribe. If your opinion differs, of course, please let me know in the comments too. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.